I'm a little late today. I don't know if y'all can see the reason why. He's a sweet boy. Yes, he is. Oh, he's such a sweet boy. We're trying to keep him, oh my god, out of trouble. I don't know if y'all can see him. Everyone, meet Gustav. Oh gosh. Okay. I said kitten chaos, and I meant it. I really, really meant it. I'm gonna be a little over to the side today because I'm trying to keep it. Okay, he's fine. So, bit of story time for everyone involved. So a bit of story time. Baby, where'd you go? Oh no. My best friend, Cass, she heisted a cat while she was out on her run yesterday. And was like, look, I got you a cat. So now I have a cat. And in honor of said cat, I thought I would do a fun cast on for a kitten sweater. So we're gonna see if I can even manage it, because he is people obsessed. And oh, he's in the bookshelf. Come here. What are you doing? The headphones might be aspirational. Maya might not get headphones today. He seems fine. Y'all let me know if the sound is good and everything is good. Oh my goodness. He doesn't seem to like dark spaces, which I think is interesting. Yeah? Because for the most part, I was under the impression that cats liked dark spaces. I'm calling him Gomez. Gomez. He doesn't respond to it, but that's what I'm calling him. Probably put this a little more off to the side. You guys don't need to hear me right up here. Kitten chaos. Kitten chaos. He's also obsessed with my husband, which is really funny. Oh yeah? Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how this goes. But I'm obsessed with the Addams Family, and I have this little thing that I made that says embalming self-taught. Technically, I believe this is Vampira. I don't think this is Morticia. But yeah, I'm gonna be very distracted. I'm very sorry. I'm already an hour late streaming because kitten stuff. But I've had this idea for a kitty cat kind of sweater, and I thought it'd be really fun to cast on. Now I have a bunch of things that I've like written down and worked on. This is for something I made for my niece. So I'm trying to find where I put the one that was like the adult version. Because when you're knitting, especially when you're designing, you always need to keep a notebook, right? You always need to be doing something, keeping track of all of your notes, making sure that you have like a correct concept of what you're supposed to be doing. A craft room might not be the place for a kitten. But enjoy my hair. But oh hi baby. We have our chow-doos. These are our interchangeable set. If you're not a knitter, that probably doesn't really mean anything to you. But if you are a knitter, you know what I'm talking about. Basically, the concept is that you have a set amount of needles and a bunch of, he also really likes string. How we doing? You have all of your needles, and then you have interchangeable loops you put them on so that you can get whatever size that you need. And my plan is actually to do a gauge swatch for you guys, because that's best practice, and not everybody does gauge swatches. I think you should, but not everybody does. This is very fun, I will say. It's been a minute since we've had a kitten. Can y'all hear him squeaking? Actually, I've never had a kitten, but we've taken care of like animals before. Yeah? You squeaking? You squeaking? You wanna come say hi to the people? Yeah, come on, baby. Come on. Oh my goodness. You're such a good boy. Oh my goodness. Can y'all see him? This is his stream now. I just live here. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Is that good? You like that? We enjoying the concept of being pet? I don't really know what you're doing, but I'm not mad about it. But what I was saying, or attempting to say, is that whenever you're doing a design of any kind, it's best to start with a gauge swatch so that you know what you're working from. Gauge is just, math. It's just the idea of this many stitches equals an inch, this many rows equals an inch, lengthwise, height-wise, respectively. And then from there, if you know how many inches you're supposed to be getting per stitch, you can guesstimate kind of how many stitches you need. So you know your cast on, you know your body, you know kind of how you want things to slope. Oh, finally. He's finally starting to calm down and chill out a little bit. Oh, I spoke too soon. And so from there, you can decide, okay, great, I only need 180 stitches for, the body, for the start of the body. So I can cast on, work bottom up, or I can decide, I know my chest circumference is this. And then from there, you can be like, great, I'll work down, slope to cast on from the top. You can also try casting on. So cute. You could also try casting on from, a pattern you've done before, or just Google it and figure out how many stitches you can cast on. So I'm going to do a gauge swatch because I'm using two different yarns. They're both black, but you can see even in camera, they're two completely different blacks, right? They're not the same. And so one of them is a little more cush than the other. And then one is, okay. And then this one is much more kind of a hardier, more static sort of yarn. So I think this one will move a lot. I think this one won't move at all. And I'm gonna, okay, he is on the laptop. I think together they'll give a really beautiful fabric, but I think one or the other wouldn't be as dynamic or as pretty. And also I just don't have enough to be completely 100% transparent. I don't have enough of either one color to do the whole sweater in one color. I hope I am making sense. Don't you dare eat that. So my plan is to do a quick gauge swatch in the body size of the yarn, or the body size needle in the yarn I want to use, get a feel for how much I'll need or what my cast on should be. Everything is interesting when you're a kitten. And then build my design from there and build my pattern his stream. This is his stream. I just live here. Do we like the desk of all places? Is this... There's so many soft places in our house. He's going under my little lift right here. Oh my goodness. You are an absolute cutie patootie, mister. You're an absolute cutie patootie. Did you know that? Did you know that your patoot is extremely cute? Baby, this ain't a toy. You don't want this. This will be very boring for kittens. Yeah, she heisted him. Oh, I was worried about this. I was worried he was going to be a yarn cat. And then he was going to be like, oh, I love playing with yarn. Let me play with your yarn. So, we're going to keep notes as we go. Keep notes as we go, aren't we? Aren't we, Gomez? We're gonna take really good notes so that we know exactly what we're doing when we're doing it later. Oh. Okay. Off the laptop. The kitty cat top. It's biscuiting my foot. US 3 ribbing, I'm thinking. US 5 body. He's biscuiting me very aggressively. I've never had a cat. This is so cute. He's the most affectionate cat I've ever met in my entire life. I don't know what to do with myself. I do think he tooted. Toot toot. That's okay. We all do it. Hawthorne fingering right apparently. These for so long as well. 357 for 100 grams in the colorway. Blackbird, I guess? Yeah, I guess the colorway is Blackbird. And it's 80% superwash fine Highland wool, 20% polyamide. So that is going to be a much more like sticky staple for the yarn. It's just sitting in my lap now like a sweet baby. This actually I used like the tiniest amount. I think I got this for a test knit for Jinx yarns, not Jinx yarns, junk yarn. Can't keep my juice sounds safe apparently or separate. And so I used this for a test knit and I had so much left over that I was like, this would really stretch this and give it like, because he's got little stripes on him. He's a tuxedo cat, but you can see he's got really, really, really subtle stripes. And if it's going to be inspired by him, I wanted it to look like him. I'm calling him Gomez. I think I mentioned that. I like to name something and then give it a little nickname so that I know, oh, you can't even see what I'm doing. I like to name something and give it a little nickname so that I can come back to it and be like, which one of these am I going with? Mystery fingering junk yarn. Because I think she sent it to me unknown. to do a little gauge swatch. Let's see what we're working with. I'm lazy, and when I do gauge swatches, I don't tend to wash them and then swatch them. I tend to get like a feel for how it's gonna look, which is bad. Don't do that. Don't do what I say, not what I do. But I tend to not wash them and like dry them and everything. I tend to just get a feel for it, because I kind of have a vague understanding of how I've done this for 10 plus years. I have a vague understanding of how it's gonna kind of block out. The only thing I will say is these are two different yarns, so we'll see. And I intend to do helical knitting, so I intend to do the helical kind of. I'll show y'all when I get there, and I thought I'd show y'all cast on as well. But he is a little jet engine. Y'all can probably hear him. He's so loud. He purrs so loud. But so we're gonna do our gauge swatch. I'll leave this right here for now. And I like to do my gauge swatches in my body needle, so that's gonna be a 5, because that's the majority of what you're working on, right? So I'll start with this guy, and the thing is, I'll rip a gauge swatch out. So I'll do a gauge swatch, and some people don't. Some people like keep them like trophies, which I find tiresome as a concept. But they'll keep them like trophies, and then they'll like keep like a book, almost like a scrapbook of all of their knits over the years. And they'll be like, oh, this is my gauge swatch for this sweater. And it's like, girl, I'm keeping the sweater, so why do I need to, keep my gauge swatch? Oh, sorry, I can talk louder, but yeah, I can also take the music down a bit. Nope. Thank you for letting me know, because I was very worried, and I'm trying to speak softly so I don't spook the kitten. But a good rule of thumb whenever you're doing a cast on with fingering weight yarn is that you take it the length of your whole arm, right? And that's about 40 stitches to assume. I usually assume that's about 40 stitches. And then 80 stitches. So I'm gonna do, you know what, I'm just gonna do 40. We'll just do 40. Okay. And then I hold my yarn like this. I have it really doesn't matter, but I like to keep my tail amount to the left, or my tail to the left, and then the one connected to the ball to the right. Take it under, right? Hopefully everyone can see that. I hold my yarn on the needle. Some people make a slip knot. I don't do that. I don't know why. I go under the yarn on my thumb, pick it up, over the yarn on my finger, and then I pull it through the loop that was made on my thumb. Now, because you don't do a slip knot, or because I don't do a slip knot, I have to remember that I have 2 stitches on the needle right now. So I'll do that again. We're going to come up under the yarn on our thumb, and we're going to hook it over this part. Right? See how that makes that little like loop basically? Then we're going to go over the yarn hanging out on our finger, and then we're basically going to slip the yarn off of our thumb and onto the needle. So that's 3. That's 4. Under, over, over, under. That's 5. Over, under, under, over, under. Oh, he's so cute. Oh my God. Under, over, over, under. Just like that. And you keep going until you have a good number of stitches. I tend to flip my thumb over the stitch, just like out of habit. Oh, did my music stop? Let me see. Yeah, kind of seems like it did. Let me see. There we go. I don't even know where I'm at. I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. 11. 13. So that's 20. I'm gonna probably do about 30, 35, 40. And the reason for that, right, is because you want to get a good kind of cross section. You don't need to have a set amount of stitches in mind. You just kind of need to know that this many stitches equals this many inches. And theoretically, you want to be able to get close to 3 or 4 inches. Now, if you can get 2.5, you can kind of extrapolate from there, right? I mean, if you can get 1, you can extrapolate from there, but I don't think that's a good base to work off of. It doesn't seem like a good, what's the word I'm looking for? He's so cute. I'm so distracted by how cute he is. No. That's 30. Huh, that's 40 with an extra tail. Oh, he's so sweet little boy. He's just looking at me. This is the problem with kittens, right? So cats are predators. They know where to look for your eyes. So they sit there and they stare you dead in the eyes as they do something extremely cute because they know you're watching. And they're like, this loser's gonna give me pits. They know. Yeah, so I don't feel like working with like only getting 1 inch for your gauge swatch is a good control group. Like you need to make sure that it's kind of relatively consistent across. So I try to do 4 inches. I try to get as like 4 inches if at all possible. And then I like to leave 5 garter stitches on each side, which that might not mean anything to you right now, but basically the concept is it gives you a border so that you can have a part that lies flat without twisting over itself. So the kitten's just purring in my lap. So I'm going to do 5 stitches, and I know this is some pretty basic knitting stuff, so if you already knit, you're probably like, oh my god, Maya, shut up. I do this. But if you don't, oh no, he's moving. If you don't, this might be a great way to learn. I also do a few rows top and bottom of garter stitch. Again, this is just so that you can have kind of a frame. I knew he was going to be a yarn cat. I knew he was going to be a yarn cat. This is a mistake. But it's so you can have a little bit of kind of wiggle room, top and bottom, and on both sides. You're literally creating a frame for your stitches, and it'll help them to kind of sit flat, right? And that way you're getting your gauge swatch. We're gauge swatching for all the people that just joined. We're gauge swatching, and if you don't know what that is, I am explaining it. It's just math. All you're doing is making sure that you can kind of math your way through building a pattern. If you have so many stitches equals so many inches. Let's say you have 7 stitches an inch. Well, if you know that your chest is 36 inches, 7 times 36, I'm not doing that math. You can do it. I'm not doing math on camera. But that's how many stitches you need. 252, you would know that. You would know that. And so you kind of go back and forth. Oh, he's so cute. He's purring away. He just ate. He put his whole face into the water bowl. And he's just living his best life, man. Just living his best life. So we're going to do probably 3 rows of garter stitch. That just means you're knitting both directions. So I'm going to knit the whole time. So I'm going to knit for 3 rows. Now, once you want your pattern to lie flat, or your knitting to lie flat, that's when you knit on one side and purl on the other. And that's called stockinette, if y'all don't know. So for gauge swatching, so that we can get a concept of how many stitches we need. You can also, like, I know people that do this to an extreme, and they will take all of their measurements and they will say, okay, I'm going to do some waist shaping. If I'm going to do waist shaping, I need this many for cast on, because that's how big I intend for this to sit at my hips. And I'll do this much waist shaping. And then once I get to the, chest, he's putting his little paw up. Can y'all see him? I put my little kitty cat pants back on specifically for him. This is what we're doing today. Y'all are gonna get to watch the kitty cat while I knit. This is kitty cam. I specifically put the kitty cat pants back on so that he could sit with the kitty cat pants. Can y'all see how cute he is? Y'all see why I call him Gomez? Yeah, kitty cat. I call him Gomez because he's got that little mustache going on. He's a black and white tuxedo kitty cat. Oh no. And his little paw just keeps making an appearance. So it's gonna be kitty cam. Since he is being good and he's sitting in my lap, I don't mind. I do own other pants, by the way. I swear I don't just own the kitty cat pants. I own other pants. What's interesting is, like, I was under the impression, because I've only ever really experienced older cats, I was under the impression that they slept a lot more, and he does not seem to like sleeping. He seems to like exploring and adventuring. That seems to be what he likes. Loves my husband. So my husband left him with me, and he just sat there and like meowed at the door and made all the little trippy noises. Yep. We are in kitty cat chaos today. Kitten chaos. Hopefully y'all are enjoying all the kitten chaos. Oh my goodness. Do you see him falling asleep? I feel like every time I say he's falling asleep, he does something. Okay. I think he likes string. I think because he was playing with the aprons, the apron strings. I think he likes string. I think we're in for a treat. I don't know if Katie's made her way in, but she might have to come say hi. I know she's had a cat. Not yet? Okay. Oh my goodness. He's rocking my whole leg with his purrs. just my whole leg. It's like the world's softest electroshock therapy. He kind of looks like the kitty cat on my pants, as a matter of fact, except it's in all black and all white. He's like the two kitty cats on my pants had a baby. So, I'm actually planning on incorporating this other yarn. I'm also a thrower, for those of y'all in the know on knitting terms, which means I knit with my right hand instead of holding with my left. The only time I hold with my left and knit with my left is when I am doing color work, and it's very foreign to me. So there are a lot of times when I will not be having a great time doing color work. And the other, I don't know if anybody caught my first ever live stream. I was doing color work and the whole top is color work. Whole top. So I've been holding the yarn in my left hand for like days now. I'm gonna start incorporating my second color, kind of get a feel for how this fabric is gonna look. And like I said, my plan is that I will do helical knitting. And so when I do helical knitting, I'll have naturally occurring stripes as I go. He's so chill. He had such a good time exploring, and now he's just chilling. Oh, he's got a wet little nose. Okay, so this is our last knit across, and on our next row we'll be purling. Oh, the ears are coming out. He just like refuses to sleep. And he's like not actively interested in getting what's in my hands. He just sort of thinks he might like the idea of having what's in my hands. Okay, so that's 5 stitches. That's our border right there. Now we're going to purl. So it looks completely different, and the fabric itself will start looking very different very soon. Hi. Are you a sweet boy? Are you an extremely well-behaved sweet boy who doesn't make any problems ever? Is that what I'm hearing? He's like, for you, I could be. And he's had a little snack, and I'm gonna have to give him another little snack in about 15-ish minutes, because I want to make sure. Y'all, I had no idea how much kittens eat. I had no idea. Apparently they eat like 2+ cans of food a day, and I picked him up a little later than I had intended, and so I'm like I'm in the red on kitten noms. Okay, so that's our 2 rows. We're gonna go back to our first yarn. We're gonna knit across and purl across, and then repeat until we have a rough idea of what we want, of like how long we're gonna, oh no, right, this is knitting all the way across. Whew. Of how long it's gonna, how many stitches we're gonna need per inch. And if y'all think, oh, this is boring, just wait till you watch me cast on. Can y'all see him? He's just licking his little tail. Oh, he's grooming, excuse me. He's moved on to his leg. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, he's so sweet. This is the kind of bizarro stuff that happens in my life. One year, one day 2 or 3 years ago, I was on my way out to work. I was literally walking out to my car to drive into the office, and I just hear this like screaming, like proper, like it sounded like a little kid just screaming. And I was like, oh wow, it's like 9 a.m. Well, it was a little earlier than that. It's almost 9 a.m. My office didn't care what I did. But it was like, why is this kid screaming outside? Like, shouldn't he be, sleeping or something? It's 9 a.m. And then I look over, and it's just the tiniest, babyest kitten I've ever seen in my life. Like, literally maybe 3 or 4 weeks old. I flipped out, and I just took it. So, I understand the drive to heist a kitten from the streets. I really do. He was right in front of our door. He'd walked over from our neighbor's place. Our neighbor had gone out earlier in the morning to let their dog out, and they had this brand new baby kitten, and he'd gotten out while they had had the door open to let the dog out. The kitten got out, and so I freaked out. I walked upstairs. My husband was still sleeping, I think, and I busted into the room because he worked from home so he could start a lot later. I busted into the room and I was like, I found a kitten. Are you getting comfy? Oh, you're finding your light. You're making sure that people can see you. Is that what's going on here? Oh my goodness, look at him. And so, oops, I went too far. And so roughly 2 hours later, I ended up calling my boss, and my boss was a big old softy, especially about cats. And he was like, "Hey, you can work from home. It's totally fine. You should stay with that kitten." I was like, I was gonna stay with the kitten. Slightly more important, I think, in my personal opinion, than doing my actual job. And I'm making a mess of this. I don't know what's going on here. I think this might have cashmere. I think that's why it's kind of sticking to itself. And my husband went over to the neighbor's house and was like, "Hey, we found this kitten in front of your door at 9 a.m. And he was like, "Oh yeah, we took the dog out at 7. So he must have gotten out. She must have gotten out whenever we took the dog out." And I was like, this cat's been outside. This kitten, this 3-week-old kitten's been outside for 2 hours just screaming at your door, and you haven't noticed? She walked right up to me, was with the big old soup belly, you know what I mean? And she was ready. She wanted people. She wanted to be inside. She was tired of being outside. And so I fed her some milk, and we took her home, and he was like, "Oh my God, thank you for bringing her back." And I was like, "You're lucky, because I almost didn't. I really almost didn't. You almost did not get this cat back." So, I'm a good Samaritan. I return cats. And I think from how relaxed and friendly he is, he probably is someone's cat. He doesn't seem like he's never been around people before. He doesn't seem like a stray. But I know that Cass would love it if he was not. She's going to take him to the vet tomorrow, and I would know that she would love it if he was not microchipped. And if he could stay home with... Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, buddy. Did I spook you? I'm so sorry, y'all. Did I spook you? Oh. No, yeah, she lives in great hope that we will fall in love with him and keep him. So that's part of why she messaged me at 9 o'clock in the morning and was like, "I stole you a cat." I was like, "The hell you did." The hell you did. But yeah, sweet little kitty cat right on my lap. Sweet little kitty cat. Oh, what we doing, bud? Nope, you gotta stay on the lap. You gotta leave the people what they want. Oh, It's like he knows. You want to stay here for me? I will say this is where all the cuddles are going to be today. You can explore all you want, but this is where the cuddles will be. So if cuddles are what you're after. And he's back on the desk. That lasted about 5.5 seconds. He seems to like the area under my laptop, which is interesting. We were noting that he doesn't seem to like dark spaces, which is also interesting because I don't know if I've ever met a cat that didn't prefer sitting in dark spaces. Uh-oh. Y'all cannot see the mischievous face he's making looking at this yarn, but I can. I know I'm in trouble. My days are numbered. You giving the people what they want? You giving the people what they want? You showing up? He knows. He knows where his light is. He knows. How did I know you were going to be a yarn cat? Tells you what I'm living with? Okay, that's just where he wants to be. He just wants to be on the table, on the desk, lying down. Oh no, he likes string. I was worried about this. This makes everything easier. Thank you. My brain is a little frazzled today. I mean, is that ever not frazzled? I don't know. We don't know. But currently it's quite frazzled. Oh, when he was running around earlier, he has the little like eyebrow wispies. They connected and he looked like he had a little white unibrow. And I was like, oh, deploy the decoy yarn. I really should. My mother-in-law just handed me off some Red Heart, some like really old, like probably, I don't even think they have that label anymore, like 20-year-old Red Heart. And so he might get some decoy yarn. He might. I'm sure he'll know the difference though. Are y'all seeing how he's just like, he abandoned my lap to sit on the desk so that you guys can all see him. He knows what you want. He knows why y'all are here. He said, Kitten Chaos? Okay. Give the people the Kitten Chaos. Give them what they... Boy! Get them what they want. Can you see his like really subtle striping that he has going on? It's like very subtle, but it's there. It's very cute. Yeah? Don't you get up on there. He sat on my laptop a second ago, which would be fine, except it was slightly inconvenient to making sure that you guys could actually see me. The decoy yarn. So bizarre. We have a shirt down, like an old raggedy shirt we've had for a while. We have that down on the ground. We have an actual bed for him. No, he wants to be on the table where everyone can see him, I guess. You know when you like deal with an animal and you're like, oh, you know you're cute. That's actually part of the problem. Oh, that's lovely. I really like the way that's knitting up. Can y'all see there's like a kind of gradient almost, and you can really see the change in the yarns. Okay, I'm gonna put a little more in the way of like rose on so I can get a feel. But yeah, he's just sitting on the table, living his best life, being cute. I'm honestly tempted to like, let me see if I can move my, without disturbing him. Let me see if I can just move my face actually. Does that work? Can y'all see him better? He's adorable. He's adorable and he knows it, and that's part of the problem. I didn't intend to have to reconfigure my entire setup for you today, friend. We're all on journeys, huh? This is also the most like relaxed he's been all day. He is an explorer. I could put a leash on him and he would probably just go. He would be having a great time. Some sweet kitty chaos today. Can y'all hear him? Did it stop the music again? Sorry about this, y'all. Oh, I know why. It's not, for some reason, Twitch keeps like logging me out of stuff. There we go. No, I don't want to do Discord. What are you thinking? There we go. Hopefully that works for y'all. Good Lord. He's very interested in everything. Everything is interesting. Everything is, you know, fascinating. Oh, he's a sweet baby. He looks like he's gonna fall asleep. So why is he up on the table? Do you want to be on hard surfaces? Are you a big fan of hard surfaces? Is that what it is? Make sure you guys can see him and also kind of see what I'm doing, but honestly this is just like a stockinette stitch, so it's probably a lot less interesting than he is. He's probably a lot more fun than me. Boy. Oh my gosh. Thank you for the subscription. Oh, he's so cute. Oh, sorry. Was that too much? Was that too aggressive? You're doing so good. Just looking like a little nugget. Oh shoot, I'm distracted by him myself. Oh, did that wrong again. See, I do this a lot. It's called tinking, which is knitting backwards. Or knit backwards. Because you're unknitting something, basically. Alright. are we working with? What are we looking like? So do y'all see what I mean by here's you're making kind of a almost if frame. Almost a frame for your knitting. You've got these stitches right here, which are a different texture. It's hard to see with black. Hopefully y'all can see that. But you've got the different texture here. You've got different texture on the sides. And then this right here, this like flat knitting is what you'll measure. Let's see something. Activity feed. It's not showing me anything on my activity feed. Oh. Oh yeah? Oh yeah? Sorry, I'm trying to put my big old head out of the way. Can you see him just like disappearing? He's a goober. Yeah? Can y'all hear him? Kitty cat jet engine noises. He's looking at the bottom of the table, like he can see through it. It's so funny. Oh. Was that so? Oh, sir. He's like pawing at me. He's like, no. Stop. Stop. What do you want? What do you want? See, that's just my arm. Why are you getting my arm? What is the arm interesting? What is it about the arm? The arm that's speaking to us. Why is the arm speaking to us today? See his little face. There you go. Just a tiny little kitten. Just a tiny little kitten hanging out in my lap. What a time to be alive. I'm actually not in love with the fabric that this is making. I feel like it's extremely thin. I might move over to a 4, actually, and see if that works better. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is why you gauge swatch, especially when you're designing, because otherwise you're gonna end up with something like, this looks almost entirely see-through in my opinion. Yeah, you can see my fingers through it. And if I had not gauge swatched, I wouldn't have known. I would have cast on, 200 something stitches and just tried to make the best of it, probably, but he also reacts to talking. He seems to really like talking. He's falling asleep in my lap. I'm helpless. Alright, I'm gonna move this over. We're gonna move it on to 4s. Maybe. We might successfully move on to 4s. Oh, he's back to fully awake now. But I guess when you're a kitten, like, everything's a toy, right? if you've never seen these, this is how you use this little pin and you sort of secure them on. I'm not left-handed, so we're just like winging it. I'm just gonna set this over to the side because I'm worried about reaching over him again and what he might do. It's like he's fighting sleep. Does anyone have cats? Can anyone tell me? Is this normal? Is this a normal amount of, like, not sleeping? Oh, that's my tummy with the biscuits. Ooh. Oof, bud. Alright, so there we go. We're gonna try a 4. Oh, wait, no, this way. We're gonna try a US 4. We're gonna see if we like it better. We're gonna see if that gives us a fabric we like more. See? Life is all about exploration. Gomez knows he loves to explore. That's all he's done all day. I also get my yarns twisted whenever I do this a lot of the time, so I'm trying to, you know, as DMX said, don't get it twisted. This already feels better. This already feels tighter. I'm wondering if these two yarns, because I don't have a label for this one at all, I have no idea what it is. I'm wondering if this one might be like significantly thinner than this one or vice versa. And so one of them might be super thick and be kind of fine on the 5, and the other one might be much thinner and making it look like there's huge like loops or gaps. Because it's like see-through. And as fun as that sounds, I'd like to avoid a see-through top today. Maybe later. Maybe another day. You know, just not this one. We're figuring it out. And I'm not going to start all over because that would be kind of stupid, but I will have to gauge swatch basically from the top instead of the bottom. Do you see his little hands? They're just like a little gentleman. He's just a little gentleman. Gosh. I'm like terrified of moving and scaring him. Move this back a little so I don't have to like yell. Yeah, I'm terrified of moving and scaring him. I'm worried he'll be like, no, I'm gone now. Goodbye, mother. Not that I'm mother. I'm auntie. Auntie. So loud. Okay, yeah. Let's see which of these yarns is thicker once we start on a smaller needle. I'm sure that there are people that tuned in and were like, there's a kitten. And then they're like, the kitten is asleep. I don't care anymore. EP boy. The muscle is EP and maybe's to CB. I was like, yeah, it's gonna be great. I'm gonna definitely like stand all day and do my best to hit my stand goal or whatever. I already like this more. That might just be psychological. I might just be being crazy. But I feel like I already like it more. Like the weave a lot more. Oh. That's what he sounds like. I don't know if y'all can see that. Oh, he's so sweet. Send it to Auntie, who kidnapped him. Alright, I think I'm gonna take a small break. And I'm gonna feed him some more. Wake him up just in time to feed him. He'll be thrilled. I think he was really hungry earlier. So we'll finish this row. And I might see if I can put like the bed or something on my lap so he's a little more comfortable, because he's kind of been running around, or not running around, but he's been like wiggling, like he's trying to find a better, more comfortable spot. Guess I'm not comfy enough. Finish this row. Alrighty. So the kitten is in the other room with the husband. So we're gonna scoot up a bit more. We don't have to have this on our lap because he probably won't be in here. Sorry for everybody who exclusively tuned in for kitten cuddles. He might come back if he does. We'll put him up here for everybody to see. But yeah, we're just gonna keep knitting, keep doing our gauge swatch. He got a snack. He got to use the restroom. He's living a great life, y'all. I've left my door open in case he decides he wants to come back through this way. I can literally hear him causing mayhem in the house. My goodness. Oh my goodness. don't think he knows his way around yet, so. He also sat on my laptop, so I'm worried he might have touched some things. Oh my goodness. Not a big fan of bags. Not a big fan of like dark spaces in general. Very interesting. I thought all cats liked dark spaces. I guess not. I should maybe use like stitch markers so I can just like discern the 5 stitches on each side. I keep knitting over them. I said kitten chaos, and I meant it. Little Duder is just living his best life. Yeah. I don't know if it's showing yet, but I can tell a definite difference between the 4 and the 5. As far as like the fabric it's making and how much tighter the 4 is than the 5. And you can do this on straight needles. I just don't own any because I've always made sweaters or socks or garments. I don't make a ton of blankets. And even when I do, I prefer kind of the versatility of a needle, knitting in the round needle. Or a corded needle is what I should say. If I could remember any of my words today, that would be great. Oh, he's back. He's back in the room. We getting up on the lap today? Girl, why are you looking at me like you haven't been up here all day? This is Adventure Kitty. If he could explore all day, I think he would. I honestly, truly believe that if I went to like a pet store and I picked up a leash, like a small enough leash, he's so small. Like she sent me, my friend that absconded with him, sent me a video of her absconding with him. And I was like, oh, he seems like a normal sized cat. And then I got there and he was so small. He was so much smaller than I thought he was going to be. I was so... You're gonna fall into that bag. I was so surprised by how small he was. So whenever... I think if I could find the right sized harness, I think he'd be an adventure kitty. I think he would go out and about. I think he'd go on walks with me for sure. There you are. He's done nothing but explore since he got here. He is obsessed with exploring. Oh my gosh. I can hear him behind me. being generally up to no good. I'm just trying to sit here, live a chill life, knit a little kitty cat sweater. And he's just making chaos behind me. I think all cats do that. Oh my goodness. Boy. He is up on the desk behind me. You can see him. Look, there he is. With the special guest of my husband's arms. I was just saying, I think if we could get him a harness, he would be an adventure cat. I think he would go on walks. I think he'd probably want to be one of those cats that likes to hike and like do things out in the wild. I think he'd have a great time. Thank you, baby. He loves food. We're very food positive in this household. So we love that for us. And he apparently loves yarn and cords. Which, you know, of course he does. That was like the one thing I was worried about. I was like, what if he likes yarn and cords? Wouldn't that be difficult? Yeah, it would. We have a lot of yarn and a lot of cords in our household. I was kind of hoping he'd be like a paper bags, boxes kind of cat. Not remotely interested in bags or boxes or dark spaces. So, is what it is, I guess. Oh my goodness. It's just so funny. I wonder if he'll lay down to sleep again soon. Yeah, you can already see a difference in that fabric. Like this up here looks so much tighter than this down here. They're both a little bit see-through, but not as much at the top. And part of that is my own tension, right? That's how that works. But oh my goodness. I'm gonna give it a few more inches or a few more rows. Probably call it good, get an idea of what I'm doing. He's a literal hellion. Modeled after my own heart, you know? I too am a hellion. Oh my goodness. And to think, I was like, you know what, maybe I'll do a brioche cast on today. Maybe I won't. I'm happy to just be able to like knit in anything. I'm so surprised that this yarn is so like thin. I don't know if that's the right word. I would assume it would be like a thicker style of fingering. I don't use a lot of knit picks, so what do I know, but I've had it for a while. I also was like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if I beaded Derpy today instead? Beaded the cat, you know, while I have a cat, while I'm babysitting. I don't think that would have worked out for me. I don't think I would have been able to bead today. I don't think I would have been able to do anything today. Oh my goodness. I've left my door open and I just coming and going. Coming and going. Sorry, this is totally off screen because I'm trying to be able to look at things. I'm enjoying the music though. Music is nice and chill. I can literally just hear him being up to no good. Okay. I'm gonna... Oh, shoot. That's what I should have done. I should have gotten my tape measure while I was feeding him. I don't know where my tape measure is. I think it's in my current project bag, as a matter of fact. So I might take another small break, go get that, so I can actually measure how many stitches I have. You would think I would have one just like on my desk, right? My desk is actually usually a mess, so even if I did have one, I probably couldn't find it. You know, because geniuses are messy. I learned that from Spider-Man. Yeah. It's like minuscule, but I do feel up close, I can really see a difference in my fabric. I can see where I finished with the 5 and where I took over with the 4. Like this, like, it looks like there's a hitch here. There's not. That's just where I changed. That's just where I changed yarns, or needles. So, yeah. Shenanigans. Tomfoolery and shenanigans. Thomas Foolery himself, living in my house. Girl, what? Alright, give me another 5 seconds to BRB. Go get my tape measure. Be right back. Alrighty. Ooh, He is a troublemaker. So. Did you just squeak at me, young man? So, the way I like to do this, take my tape measure and I measure between. Measure between the little frames I've made, right? So roughly there-ish to, oh wow, that's almost 6. Yeah, this is a lot in the way of fabric. Oh, and of course you have to count, and counting in black is just never fun for anyone ever. It's a nightmare. Have to be like leaned over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-ish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. Okay, we're getting consistency with about 5 stitches per inch. That's massive. What? That can't be right. Yeah, no, seems to be right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I just let it roll over. Yeah. So normally, I get about 6 or 7 stitches per inch with a fingering weight yarn. So let me look at this weight again. Y'all, this is sport. Okay. So it's not that I'm dumb. It's that I'm dumb. I just don't pay attention, apparently. So anything from about 350 to, honestly, 330 to about 380 is usually considered about a sport weight. So this is much more, that's explaining so much. So the reason I'm getting that like weird see-through effect is because this is probably a fingering. Again, I don't have a band for this. I don't have a ball for this. I don't know what I'm doing with this one. I just had it and I thought they would be pretty together because this is how I live my life. One mistake at a time. And then I have this one, which is, I thought was fingering because of how it looks, but the way that it's knitting up was leaving all of this like space, right? And so I think it's likely that this is sport and this is fingering, and that explains why the changes in rows are so like visibly different. And then from here up is the 4. Actually, no, from here up is the 4, sorry. So about half and half. So yeah, I'm gonna get about 5 stitches per inch unblocked. So let's do the friend that found him is already texting me being like, oh my god, I can't wait to see him again. I can't wait to love on him whenever I get off work. Gomez. I think he was in the room a second ago. He's probably gone. He's wonderful. He's having a great time. Don't you worry about Gomez. Gomez is living his best life. But, oh, this was him sleeping. Actually, it might be, oh, look at him. Look at him. Look at him sleep. He's a sweet boy. So yeah, so now that we are on to our fun mistakes, I even wrote the yardage for this guy down and was like, that's fingering. I was wrong. I'm not right. I think this is a sport. I think I just assumed it was fingering because it looks like fingering weight yarn. It's fine. We're all fine. No one's dead. It's just a silly mistake to have made. This one I know is fingering because I made a fingering weight sweater with it. So I think if we go with the 4, we're gonna get a much more like interlocking kind of fabric. I started from like roughly there up. Can't see quite as much of my finger, whereas like down here, like you can fully see my finger through the fabric, like fully. It's completely see-through. Whereas like up here, it's still a little see-through, but it leaves a little bit more to the imagination. You're more so seeing the texture of me running my finger over the fabric. Do you know what I mean? Is this making sense? If I'm not making sense, someone has to tell me, because I am insane. So, if we're gonna assume 5 stitches an inch. And then let's see what we've got for rows. Hi, baby. Hi, Gomez. Hi, Gomez. What are you doing? Literally up to no good. He ran away. He said, no, ma'am. He said, no, I just want to play with your toys. I don't want to hang out with you. Rude. So rude. Okay. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, that's easy. So that's roughly 10 rows for an inch. That's really bizarre. You know what? Let me look up what like normal gauge would be actually. For sizes 1 through 3, 7 to 8 stitches equals 1 inch. See, this is what I'm talking about. Wait a second. This is saying it's a 1. What? So this is even saying it's fingering weight, but its yardage is sport weight. We live in confusing times. So it's even saying it's a fingering weight. I don't feel bad about getting that all confused then. So we're gonna say, we'll say 6 inches or 6 stitches then. 5/6 stitches and about 10 rows. An inch. So it's just like a wild gauge to be working with. And it's probably me. I'm probably crazy. But the thing is, I think if I did wet block this, I think it would grow. I don't think it would get smaller. This is my little notebook for everyone that might have missed it. This is where I keep my pattern notes when I'm working on something. It has flamingos because I can't do anything with like a boring notebook because that would be boring. And then I have my little Kirby pen because I am Kirby obsessed, as we have discussed in my household. I might be a little Kirby obsessed. All right, so let's do some quick maths. I still probably want to do, I'm thinking I want to do a twisted rib. Let me see what this needle is. What are you? Are you 2? No. Surely not. You've got to be a 1. Yeah, you're way too small. Yeah, that's a 1. See? I know things. So I'm thinking I want to do a twisted rib, so I'll probably start with a 2. Because I originally had a 3, and now that I'm looking at it, I don't think a 3 is going to work for me. What are you? You're also a 1, aren't you? Why do I have so many 1s? What was I doing that I was like, need all these 1s? It's a very small 2, so if I was going to do a twisted rib cast on, this would be great. But since I'm not, I'm going to make this bottom up because my thought, oh, I haven't even described my design. My thought, excuse you, ma'am, is that I will knit bottom up. So I'm going to have a nice long amount of twisted rib at the bottom. And then I'm going to knit bottom up. And then once I get kind of to the chest area, I'm planning on knitting, changing actually. So the rest will be just like knit fabric, wool. And then from roughly, once again, this is a booby podcast apparently, from roughly here up, I'm planning on using mohair. I have black mohair that's been in my collection for 1 billion years. I've had it forever. And so I intend to use that probably a little higher because this feels really low now that I'm saying it. Probably a little bit higher, but I want to use these yarns to make little ears. So it'll be mohair from like the chest up with little ears. Why am I sneezing so much today? I mean, it might be the cat. I've never had a cat before. Who knows? But, so yeah, it'll be knit, ears, mohair. So I'm gonna probably have to go back and forth with the mohair and then knit back and forth for the ears. I don't know how big I want the ears to be. Probably relatively big, but yeah. Hopefully that made sense. I have a little like pattern I kind of drew out at one point, but I don't know where it is, honestly. Is it in here? It might be. Yeah, it's kind of like this. So like, and I'd love to make a ruffled, oh, you can barely see that. I'd love to make a ruffled sleeve with the mohair. I think that would be super cute and like flouncy. This is an idea I've had for a long time and just like never acted on it because it never seemed like it would be a good idea. Because again, I live in a very hot climate, and so the idea of wearing yarn and mohair just sounds miserable, but I am manifesting autumn today. A, we have a cat, and B, I'm manifesting autumn today. A little black cat at that. So now that we've done our gauge swatch, which was very interesting for everybody, and I'm sure you all loved it, I'm actually going to change over my needles to a size 2. And I'm gonna just start casting on. Oh wait, no. First, I have to do math. Oh my God, what's wrong with me? What am I, new here? But yeah, so, oh, I'm gonna do a 2 and a 4 actually. So this is gonna be, instead of a 3, it's gonna be a 2. Instead of a 5, we're gonna have a 4. When I go to actually like write this out to be able to transcribe it to a different pattern, I regularly just like rewrite the whole pattern because I don't know if you can see. Where did I put the Mia top? I don't remember where I put it, but I wrote it out and it's just much cleaner than the original. The original is, ooh, I showed the original earlier, but for all the people that missed it, the original looks like this. Can you see how many crossed out things I have on this? And this is my first ever brioche design, and it's a basic brioche, but I'd never seen anybody do a brioche v-neck. I'd never seen anybody do a brioche like vest. Originally, I thought I was gonna make a full sweater, and I might, we'll see. But once again, we live in a hot climate, so who knows? I don't think I can manifest that hard. But I thought it'd be a cute top or a cute cover for things like the beach, right? Little brioche top. And if you don't know what brioche is, ignore me. I'll explain it later. But so if we're assuming, let's assume 6 stitches actually per inch. So 6 an inch. And I know that I'm going to have, I try to knit a 36-inch bust, which is maybe a little TMI for y'all, but so 6 times 36, which my husband is in the chat, I'm sure, about to tell me what it is. 216. And because I intend for this to actually be a crop top, I think I'll do a little bit of waist shaping as I go. So I think I'll start with like literally 2 or 3 inches of twisted rib, which sucks because I actually hate doing twisted rib, but I like the way it looks. So I'm gonna torture myself for you guys. So 6 times 36. So we're gonna cast on, what did I say? 216, something like that. 216. Oh, I'm so good at remembering math, but not doing it. Stitches on US to twisted rib. 3 inches. That's how I keep my notes. That's it. I mean, it's super simple. It's super basic. And if and when I ever do go and do my best to transcribe this or turn it into a pattern, I used to do all kinds of like pattern work and pattern knitting and tried to make things for, you know, I think I had 13, 14 sizes. I wanted to be very size inclusive, but it's a lot of work. And so depending on how much interest I get in this, I might do a pattern and sell it. But for the most part, I'll probably just be like, here's my math, here are my numbers. Do your measurements and figure it out. You know what I mean? Because that's all it really is. That's why I keep reiterating, it's just math. It's just math. It's not hard. It's just math. All you have to do is take a few measurements and say, well, if my gauge, and gauge swatch as well, it is for the best. And if my gauge matches this gauge, I can get this many stitches, or I can just knit for this many. You could do a whole different yarn. I've done that. I've done test knits for people and been like, oh, I actually, you know, I made the test knit because that's what they asked for, but I've kept the pattern and been like, oh, I want to do this in a different yarn. I actually just finished a test knit and I'm like, I think I want to do this again in a different yarn, the smaller. And because I have the math and because I have an understanding of the pattern, it's super simple. That's all you have to know. That's all you have to know. I'm a big proponent in just learning the math, doing a gauge swatch, and going. Like, I think if you can knit and you can do basic math, there's nothing you really can't do. I mean that. I know it sounds silly and hokey, but I really do mean it. And the person I did the test knit for, Chase Harple, who is fantastic, actually is also a programmer, which I found out while I was doing the test knit. And I was telling him I wanted to do like a fingering weight version of this DK/sport weight yarn that he was working, that the pattern called for. And he was like, oh, well, just let me know what your gauge swatch is. I have a program. I was like, I have a program and I'll put it in there for you so you'll know roughly how many stitches you need per inch or how much, and I can help you figure out yardage. And we kind of kikied about the fact that I also have a Python program that I put all of my math into, and it will tell me what I need for something. And I could use that here, but honestly, it's easier to just do it by hand. Just easy napkin math. Now, if I was doing this for the sake of a project or something I was going to hand off, I would use my program, and then I would double check I would do some, data validation basically. But because it's just me and because I'm doing it for myself, it's literally simple napkin math. That's all that's called for. I know that sounds silly and a little intimidating, but it's true. Just simple napkin math. That's all you really need. So we're changing over to our US 2s, and this is part of why I love an interchangeable set, right? Because it has, y'all have already seen me, or well, in the VOD, y'all will have already seen me use 3 different sizes from this alone, and then 1 like cord. I don't have to have 3 different individual needles, which I do, right? I have tons of individual needles because you can't use only the stuff in your interchangeable set. I do know people that just buy interchangeable needles and then add them to their set. But for me, I'd rather have more cords and a reasonable amount of needles, and then have a few fixed circulars that I can use for, like, if I'm traveling, because I don't want to lose one of my, interchangeable set while I'm traveling. I've never lost a needle while I was traveling, but I've heard horror stories of people being like, oh yeah, I left it at the airport, or they took it away from me, which is insane. Like, I've traveled with literal scissors in my bag before, and they've been like, yeah, that's not an issue. And then I hear horror stories about people getting their knitting needles taken, and it's like, for what, man? What do you think I'm gonna do? Brioche you to death? I'm sure I'm being a little too flippant about this, and somebody is gonna come into my comments and be like, how dare you? My father was brioche to death. Okay, there we go. That's all of that. Isn't this exciting? This is getting the yarn spaghetti out. Oh. Getting the yarn spaghetti. Nom 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 nom. Now, because I have more of this one, and because I think it would probably, Yeah, you know what? No, I'm a liar. I almost lied to you. I am a liar, but I almost lied to you. Oh, he's coming for the yarn spaghetti, that's for sure. But on ribbing, I usually use whatever I have the most of. But when I go to the collar, when it comes to like the collar and the arms, I usually try and make sure that I use whatever is the softer of the yarns. And that's definitely not this guy. So I think I'll actually do the collar in this and probably the bottom in this. Now, remember that technique I talked about earlier? Where I was like, this, oops, sorry. Your arm length for fingering weight is usually roughly 40, 80, 120, 160. Sorry, I'm distracted. What was I doing? Oh, right. 40. Oh, no. 40. 8. 120. 160. 200. And then I'm going to do about here-ish. 220. Hopefully y'all can see that. I don't like a massive tail. I know some people are like, have more tail. It works out better. Ain't for me. I'm sure it's fine. Just plenty of people are unbothered. It's not for me. I can't stand having a massive tail because then it just hangs out and it just grabs everything. I'm going to talk about horror stories. I've got horror stories about picking the tail up and knitting from that before. Having to rip out an entire row. But yeah, and now we're just going to cast on our 216 stitches. See you in 40 minutes. I'm just kidding. But it will be very boring, so enjoy. I can warn you right now. I'm also worried he's gonna see it and come over and start playing with it. Oh. If you ever do that, it's fine. Just take it off. I don't want this to be super tight either, which is part of why I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna use this like 6 stitch kind of gauge idea instead of a 5 stitch gauge idea, because if I go for 5 and it ends up being smaller than I think it will be, I'll be annoyed. I have so many to cast on, I'm not even keeping track. One thing I will say is a pro move though, is like if you have a bunch to cast on, right? A bunch. Go ahead and use just stitch markers. Get to whatever number it is you don't mind doing multiples of. For me, I usually do 50 or 100 because there have been times when I've done blankets and it's like, oh, that's a 400 stitch cast on. Or a 400 stitch cast off, but it's a 400 stitch cast on. It's like, no, I will not be sitting here counting each individual stitch. I will go insane. I don't know why the music keeps pausing today. I don't know what's going on. I'm having some difficulties. But then again, we did say that this would be chaos today, right? We knew. We said kitten chaos. They're just playing. But yeah, I usually do 100 for mine. whenever I have a crap ton to do, I don't even count them. I just keep going and going and going, and then whenever I'm like, that seems reasonable, that's what I count. I know some people really love casting on. I don't think anybody, I don't know, maybe they do. Maybe people love casting on. Maybe people genuinely love just sitting here and counting stitches and watching the numbers go up. I'm not one of them. That's not a thing I enjoy. I actually hate casting on, and I hate doing like the first 2 rows of anything. I'm fine going from there, and I wish I could start all projects kind of from like the middle, and then they could be just interesting enough for me to be like, ah, yeah, this is keeping me engaged. But for the most part, I hate casting on and casting off and finishing and weaving in ends and blocking and all of that good stuff. And I've done my best to hold off on doing too much of derpy before tomorrow, whenever we'll bead together again. But I probably, because of the nature of how knitting works, probably won't hold off on that, because I will never get it done if all I do is sit and knit when people are looking at me. I'll never finish it. And I've already got another project on the needles right now as we speak. It's that all over color work I was talking about. Good time. I think he needs a little bit of a enrichment in his enclosure. I did hear Lo-Fi Girl graduated. I was not saddened, but a little surprised. I mean, she was studying for so long. I'm glad that she got a degree. Hey, Katie, did you just get in? Have you missed my shenanigans, or have you been here? I can't tell who's been here. Because if you've missed my shenanigans, have I got something for you? Oh, okay. Please hold 1 second. Did you see my Instagram story? You know what? We'll find out together. Okay, please hold. Say hi, Katie. Yeah, no, chat delay is on my side too. You're all good. Say hi to Gomez. You're okay. Look at how cute he is. Look at his little mustache. Okay. I'm tired of touching your butt. You can go. So. Oh, thank you for the bits, cutie. Yes, I named him Gomez. So, We don't own him. He's not ours. Cassandra messaged me at like 9 a.m. yesterday. Gomez. Oh, he's got a toy. Cassandra messaged me at like 9 a.m. yesterday and was like, oh, I was out on my run and this cat started following me and it was just so crazy. And I said, cool. Yeah, good for you. And she's like, I think I found you a cat. And I said, LOL, that's hilarious. And then the next thing I know, I get a video and the cat's in her bathroom. And I was like, we're not looking, hi baby. We're not looking to take cats on right now. But we are running kitty cat daycare. Hence the name of the stream today. We are Kitten Chaos. He is a chaotic little critter. He is in my bathroom. He's actually on my little bench in my office. Oh my God. But yeah, we have named him Gomez because he is a boy. And he's a little tuxedo cat. And he's very, very adventurous. You better not, boy. I've never had a cat. So for me, this is an experience of all time. Can you hear his little squeaks? He goes, ah! He doesn't quite meow, and when he does, it's extremely crunchy. What kind of cat do you have? The one back at home with your parents? He also doesn't seem to like dark spaces. I put a couple of boxes and bags out for him, thinking he would like want to be inside of them. He'll kind of poke his head in and then freak out and back out and leave. So oh, Vinny's a mutt. Yeah. Well, I mean, they're all kind of mutts, right? Like I think there's only like 2 or 3 different kinds that are actual purebred domestic long hair. Okay. Hi, baby. Fall down. He's a food motivated hellion. So he fits right in our house. You want to sit up here with me? And he sounds like a jet engine. He purrs so loud. He's so little. He's so little. You want to come up here? Boy, get off of that. This has been, he rumbles. He does rumble. Oh. This has been the whole stream. The whole stream is just me going, where'd he go? Where'd he go? He's like a rumble pack. Like, have you ever, he proper N64, this is where they got the idea. Somebody just had a cat. And he's so little. Like, when she sent me the video, I didn't have a scope of how big he was because he seemed so much bigger. Come on, baby. Oh, yeah. Is that fun? Is that fun? Yeah. Oh, oh. There you go. He's just chilling. Please enjoy the free feet. Oh, sweetie. No, we're not. He also enjoys just being on my desk, apparently, which I find hilarious. Close my water bottle so that he doesn't lick it with his little kitten mouth. You do need to see him. You love him already. He's very cute. Alex is already in love. It's very cute. I say that like Alex isn't on this chat. He's so little. I had no scope. I don't have any experience with cats. So I went to pick him up and I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. Why is it so small? And he is, of course, a hellion. Fits right in. And he's genuinely, I mean this, the most affectionate cat I've ever. Yes, he's so skinny. Oh, let's get off the laptop before we touch a button. But he's so little. He's the most affectionate cat I've ever experienced in my life. We're staying away from the tea. But yeah, he was sitting on my lap earlier, just falling asleep. Sorry, I know my chair is going to squeak at you. He eats every 2 hours. He is. I think he's max 3-4 months. So like when she sent me the video, I was like, oh, he's probably like 6 months old. He looks biggish. Because there wasn't like a lot of scope of like he wasn't next to anything. Because it's just him running around. Yeah, I think he's max 3 or 4 months. Hi. Can y'all hear the rumbling? He's so cute. Oh. And he's like maybe 3 or 4 months old. I freaked out when I saw how small he was. But I'm running little kitty cat daycare right now. And they eat so much. I'm not trying to hold you hostage. I'm trying to make sure that the people can get what they want. You gotta give the people what they want, bud. And they want to see a cute little kitty cat. No, you be good. We're not eating wires today. Oh, good. You cut some of his rumbles. Rumble in the jungle. Ah! He does not like being held down. Oi! You stop that. Yeah, if he could be exploring 24/7, I think he would be. I was saying he's young and needs his freedom. He is a young man. He is discovering himself in life. I was saying I think if we I was gonna ask if y'all had a harness like from when Frank was much smaller, but honestly, since his whole body is like this big, I genuinely don't think y'all could have a small enough harness, because even Frank at his smallest was still probably 3 times his size. Where have you gone? Okay, you're in the bathroom. Oh, girl. It's been a day. It's been a day. So yeah. That's part of why I had to get started at like 1. And so I'm planning on knitting a kitten sweater. It's going to be a lot of ribbing, and then it's going to go up. He's so funny looking, right? He looks like a teenager. He's in that like weird teenager cat teenager face, where he's like, I say it with love, I'm not bullying you, please don't develop a complex. I know you're there. And I was saying this earlier, but because he's a predator, he knows to look for your eyes before he does something cute. So he'll like look at you, make eye contact, and then just like fall over and make biscuits and be like, oh, I'm so cute. And I'm like, how dare you? How dare you, sir? Sir. What a time to be alive. I knew this would get you because I knew you like cats. Are you being good? He's obsessed with my office. There's so much to see and do with the bookshelf and all the stuff. Oh, he has. He 100% has. And he wants to be in everything. He wants to be in everything. Like, the only cat experience I have is with much older cats, and they want to lay down and be lazy and do nothing. Like Cheech and Leo want to lay down and be lazy and do nothing. He is not that way. He is absolutely, fun fact, the complete opposite of that. Whatever the opposite of that is called, that's what he is. And like, he wants to be around me all the time. He wants to be around me like nonstop. but he also doesn't want to be held. He just wants to be wherever I am or wherever Alex is. And he will, like, if he can't see us, he starts to meow and go, "Where are you? Where are you?" So cheeky little bugger. You coming up here? You coming up here again? You time for nappy naps? No? Not time for nappy naps? Okay, do whatever you want, man. You can do whatever you want. Yes, he has. He has imprinted on us. I'm just trying to make sure he doesn't kill himself. Like, I just don't want him to, like, eat something or choose something or... What are you doing, bud? If you want to be in the lap, you have to acquire lap privileges, which means you have to just come be on the lap. Okay, that's my first 100 because I have to cast on 216. He really wants to be on the table where I keep all my beading stuff, and I have like beads that are just like still on the mat from whenever I was beating Derpy the other day. And he really wants to get onto that table and play with those beads, and we are doing our best to keep him off of it. Yeah? Joining me up here? Come on, baby. Oh, you're so good. Right back in the lap. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, I'm just gonna... Oh. He's just like biscuiting the air. So that's 31. Oh my goodness. He's so loud. I know, isn't he so sweet? He just wants to be on the lap. He doesn't want to be held. He needs his freedom, as you said. But he wants to be on the lap. Lap is where he's safe. It's giving Frank. It's giving, I want to be wherever mom is. I was trying to convince Cass she wanted to take him, actually, because I was like, well, you have so much experience with cats, and also you have cats. Like, he'd fit right in, get some fresh blood into that family. And she's like, no. He's for y'all. And I was like, damn it, Cass. He needs his own camera, honestly. And if I didn't think it would be too hot, I'd sneak him into tennis. Oh, he also loves yarn and cords. I don't know if you caught that, if I said that yet, but he loves yarn and cords. He likes to play. He is a playful little boy. So naturally, the worst thing he can like in our household is yarn and cords. Because we have a ton of them. So my great fear is that he'll just like eat them. Oh, oh. See? He likes things that dangle. He is a big fan of the aprons in the kitchen because the strings dangle down. Everything is a toy. Everything is a toy. Which, like, that's a good sign, right? I think all kittens are kind of that way. His eyes are just closing. But yeah, so this has been my day. Yeah, if I didn't think it would be too hot, I'd sneak him into tennis. But I think it would be way too hot. Did you just huff at me, sir? He's the sweetest baby. He'd get way too hot, I think. Well, and what's wild to me is like she found him in the wild, out in nature, on a morning run. So I was like, so if he's been living in the wild, is he okay? But he's so affectionate and so sweet and so good with like food and water, and he uses the litter box. I'm like, this cat belongs to somebody. You heisted someone's cat, and we just have to find the owner and get them their cat back. I don't think she wants to give him back either. I think she wants him to work out in the friend group. And then she sent me another text this morning because, you know, she's got a lot of strays in her neighborhood, and many of them are older. There's a gray and white, like tuxedo looking cat. Yeah, he's probably someone's pet. Or, and this is the other thing that Alex and I were talking about, because of kind of his more like young nature and being so young, he might actually be already like a foster cat who got out. You know what I mean? So he might not have like a forever home, but it might be a matter of like he's had all the training necessary. So we might end up just like getting back in touch with people who either have him or have been fostering him. Two, 84, 86, 88, 90, 92. Uh-oh, I might have too many. 94, 96, 98, 100. Let me use my other stitch marker. Yeah, we're hoping he has a chip. Sorry, I missed that message. Yeah, we're hoping he has a chip. Or I'm hoping he has a chip. The only thing is, like, he's maybe 3 or 4 months old. I don't know when they would have chipped him. So I told her to keep an eye on her, like, neighborhood Facebook or like WhatsApp or whatever, or next door. Yeah, I told her to keep an eye on like her WhatsApp or her Nextdoor app and like see if anybody says, hey, we're missing a kitten. Which, you know, Cass, there's a very real chance, even if somebody does say that, she won't give him back. Okay, so I have the proper amount of stitches. That should be 216. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. I ended up with a huge tail anyways, which is exactly what I was trying to avoid, but here we are. I think he's a little young for a chip. I don't know when they do that. No, let me make sure I have 200. Two, 24, 26, 28, 30. Oh, okay, so that's only 98. It looks like. Yeah, 10 weeks. Okay, so he's definitely older than 10 weeks. Do you know where they microchip gets? Is it like the ear? Because like normally in dogs, it's in like the ear or the scruff. And sometimes you can feel it. Yeah, no, I was off by a matter of 2. Between the shoulder blades and the base of the neck. You're so helpful, babe. I appreciate you greatly. So I can give him a tiny kitty massage. And we can see if we find something between the shoulder blades and the base of the neck. In a like small way, I do kind of hope he does have like a family and a chip and like somebody who really loves him and wants him to come home, because he's so sweet, and it would be such a shame for a critter this sweet to be like, I don't know, not unwanted, that's not the right word, but like to just be free range. He's so sweet and he's so good with people, so I can't assume he is. Are you kidding me? I was off by a factor of 2 on both sides. What is happening? Can I not count anymore? Is that my problem? Have I gotten... Look at him. He's passed out. He's passed out on my lap. Oh, look at him. He's looking out. Oh, ah. Woke him up. Sorry, fam. He's also just like so well behaved. Just, it's wild. He keeps just crawling into my lap to pass out. I'll just add 2 more at the end, and then we'll be like, yeah, we know. We can do math. So there we go. That's the 216 we're looking for. He's just like, he keeps like, can y'all see how cute he is? The missile is eepy. Hashtag got fine. Okay, see y'all in a bit. I'm probably about to be done in a minute anyways, because this has been a wild adventure and we are all a little eepy. But I did promise a cast on, so that's what we're doing today. And actually, I need a better stitch than this. You're fine, buddy. You can go back to sleep. He just wants to, he doesn't want to sleep on the ground. Just wants to sleep in the lap. How did this happen to me? Now, a little trick for those of you at home is that I like to add an extra stitch when I'm doing my cast on. Oh, he's fighting it. His eyes, he keeps like... And that way, so I've got my extra stitch on there, right? And that way, whenever I go around, first off, you gotta make sure you haven't twisted your knit stitches, because otherwise you'll end up with a Mobius strip instead of a sweater, and you'll be very, very sad. He can hear what I'm doing, but he can't see what I'm doing, so he keeps like... So, gotta pick the right thread once again, because we don't want to have our little nightmare experience where we accidentally knit from the tail instead of the working yarn. But make sure you've got everything, nothing's twisted, and you've got that extra stitch on the needle. So what you're going to do is you're actually going to move it from the right needle to the left needle. Make sure you can see this. Right? And it's on your working yarn, so you can make it kind of thin. And then you're going to pass your first stitch over your working yarn and move it back to the front, or move it back to your right hand needle. And what that does is that instead of having like that little gap, that little gap that you kind of get between your cast on stitch whenever you're working in the round, you get this tiny little gap whenever you go to start working in the round. You go to start working. And so what this does is by moving that over and then dragging the stitch up, over, and across, you get rid of that gap, and it really syncs up with where your knitting is. I don't know why that noise was necessary. But we're going to do a 1x1 twisted rib for 3 inches because I hate myself. It's my like least favorite way. And because I'm paranoid, I'm just going to keep like touching my yarn and making sure that it's all going the right way, because I don't want to have to do another 200 something cast on, 200 stitch cast on. That sounds miserable. Sounds like a miserable time for everybody. But to do a twisted rib, for everyone following along at home, you're going to go into actually the back loop. So a normal knit stitch, you go into the front loop like that, okay? I'll get closer and show you again. You go into the front loop, right? And you knit around, pull through, take it off. Well, for a twisted knit, you go into the back loop and you knit, and then you purl, because 1x1 is the worst thing ever invented. But it's a good aesthetic and it looks good. So you go into the back, yarn over, pull through, take it off the needle, purl. You can also do a twisted purl. Actually, I have a friend that only knew how to do a twisted purl, Echo. She only knew how to do twisted purl. And so all of her knitted objects were twisted stitches. But yeah, And the reason I'm torturing myself with this is because it looks really good. And Maya, what does it look like? Oh my God, I'm so glad that you asked. I have a project I actually have been working on, the Rumble Raglan. And the Rumble Raglan it's a little messy. Has a twisted knit, twisted rib cast on for its collar. And you can hopefully see how nice and like professional that looks. It gives you just like a lot more space in the way that you do your ribbing. But yeah, so it gives it a much more like professional sweater kind of look. I'm trying to hide the yarn from him because otherwise I think he's gonna get up and play with it. And we're trying to avoid that if at all possible. He is fighting sleep so hard. So hard. I'm probably gonna have to actually. I wish y'all could see his eyes. He's just like. Mom, I don't want to sleep. You're a liar. But yeah, so we've got the kitty cat cast on in honor of my chaos kitty cat friend. And you just do this for 1 billion years. This is very exciting. Oh, I am going to be struck even after the stream ends. The only reason I managed to get him up earlier when he was sleeping is because I gave him food. So I think there's a very high likelihood that even when I'm done streaming, I'll be stuck sitting here. But you know what? He's cute. So it's worth it. But yeah, we're almost to 3 hours and it's been a wild time, so I think I will end it here. Thank you everybody for joining. Thank you all for coming along and meeting Gomez, my chaos adventure kitten, and saying hi and just being a part of the stream today. I know it wasn't the most exciting thing and it was probably very ADHD, but yeah. I hope you all have enjoyed yourselves. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Theoretically, I'll be online again tomorrow. See you all for maybe some beading. Again, that will be dependent on kitty needs. But yeah, have a good time. Make good choices. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay? He's not gonna say bye. He's asleep. Okay. Bye-bye.